G'day everyone. Recently I've just been sent a gimbal from Moza. It's a new updated version of the Moza Air 2, and this version is called the Moza Air 2S. Now it's an incremental upgrade, which means it's not a huge upgrade in some of the features, but some things that they've added really make it so much easier to use. And I'll go through those things that really show it probably is a worthwhile investment that you could make. Particularly if you haven't got one yet, well then it's a no-brainer to think I'd go for the 2S version. But let me show you the differences or what they've added to make this so much more usable. This is the gimbal itself. It's called now the Moza Air 2S. Like I said, it's an incremental upgrade, but some of the features they've added really do make it a much cooler device. So the first thing I'll show you is the little scroll wheel. So this wheel here, which all gimbals have, sometimes they can be a bit awkward or hard to get to. Well, what this has done is sort of added like a little jog wheel that's here that you can move this very, very fast, to do all your different panning and things like that. And I found this really useful. And it's also going to be able to do things like focus and things like that if your camera is capable of doing that. This is all a pre-release version though, so I haven't got the upgraded firmware in this yet, or the app and everything is still pre-release on the iPhone. So yeah, just bear that in mind. So I really like that, and I think that's really going to be a great feature to have if you'd like to work very, very smoothly, particularly like if you wanted to, say, stand it down on the ground on the tripod stand and then use this to pan or something. You can get really lovely smooth footage. So this is called the Smart Micro Wheel, and with this you can do things like PTZ. You can also have lens control, and you've even got follow focus control as well. So you can do an awful lot with this, and it really just depends on how you'd like to set this up. But I think that's a great feature. If you don't want to use that, well then obviously you can just clip that away and then it just becomes the standard jog wheel. The next thing I'd like to sort of discuss now that you've got locks on every single axis. You've got the 3 of them, which is great because the previous one only had one lock here, so that if you had your camera on it or wherever it was sort of flopping around, well now they've sort of developed it so you can just click these and unlock them very, very easily, and so it's great for things like transportation and things like that. They're also really nice and easy to use, probably one of the easiest I've used in any gimbal. Sometimes they're quite hard to get to, these being bright red in the color, and also they really stick out, and it's gives a good click when it sort of moves, so you can't make a mistake with it. So that's also new. You've got the 3 of those. So you've also got the gear plate here. You can attach things to. You could have cold shoe, you could put arms, whatever you wanted to attach to this as well. On the side here, you've got an M4 mounting device. So you can attach things like handles or attach it to sliders and things like that as well. So it really is much more usable than the previous Moza Air 2. The other really great thing, now I'm always struggling to have audio attachments like wireless and things like that connected to cameras that are on this. Well, it does have a cold shoe mount here. So you can just clip basically whatever you'd like. It could be microphones, it could be lights, whatever, straight onto the gimbal right here. And that's really a great usable feature. Now we'll work with the iFocus M accessories. So you can do things like unlock autofocus shifting and auto zoom functions. Now these can also be set from the start to finish, so you have a beginning and an end point, which is really nice. The build quality of this is amazing. It's a strengthened metal, so it really does feel solid in your hand. Probably would last a lifetime. Nice handle as well. I think the handle is much nicer than the previous model because it's now got this rubber sort of grip here at the front, so it feels much nicer in your hand. And also they've updated the button too at the front compared to the previous model as well. It does come with these feet, which are plastic, but they're very, very well made, and it gives it it's very sturdy if you want to hold it onto the ground. It has this great Manfrotto quick release system, and I've got the Manfrotto plate attached here onto the A7S III. To attach it, all you have to do is just undo the lock here and then click it in. Now it's just very, very smooth to get in. It'll just lock in and then you lock that off. Now that means then it's balanced. So if it is balanced, all you have to do to get it off is to just unclip that again, move it forward holding the button, and it slides straight off. So that gives you the ability to keep this balanced and use this for other things, like you may want to, say, shoot some handheld video or photography, or put it onto a slider or something like that. So once it's balanced, you don't have to move anything. So it's a very, very quick swap system. It also has auto tuning. So if I bring this in and we'll lock it down in place, all I have to do then is unlock all of the locks. So there's 3 of them, which you've got to remember. And once that's done, I just have to turn the unit on. Now it is already balanced, so you can see that just by it sitting here. Now one of the other big changes for this gimbal compared to the Moza Air 2 is that now it's an internal battery. There is some pluses and negatives for that, obviously. I didn't like the previous version with having the batteries in. I always found them hard to get out and also hard to get in, and you can only use certain batteries. It's very critical about the exact size, otherwise it doesn't work. Now this has a 3200 mAh battery, and it actually lasts for 20 hours. And I took this to Sydney with me, and I didn't have to charge it once, and I was there for a few days. So it does last a very, very long time. But it will charge from the USB at the front here, and it charges in 2 hours, so it's very, very quick to recharge. Now to start it, what I'm going to show you is how it does a balance. Now to start this, what you do is you hold the button at the back here. There's a button here, and you press that on and it will build up, and then it flashes to tell you that the power's on. That's a really good thing because that stops the gimbal being left on in transit and things like that, and I've had that happen before. All you do then is you just hit the power button at the back, and Moza will come on, and then it's actually functioning now. Now to show you the quick balance, I'll just do it down here. If I hold the S button in from here and click it now, and I'll hold it in, it will do a balance on its own. So this is doing a complete balance. To check the weight is correct for each motor and things like that. So this sets it up completely. It also comes with a new version of balance check. It's version 4.0. What this does, it uses the OLED screen on the back. So when you do the balance check, it will give you a readout on the back of the screen, and then you can change the settings to suit that balance. Now it comes with 3 profile settings. You just press the M button to get to those 3 settings. So you could have totally independent settings for, say 3 separate cameras, something like that. You could change the motor strengths or whatever you'd like to do. And that's really nice. You also can press the same M button to manipulate what the wheel does. So it could be to operate pan, tilt, or whatever you'd like it to work with as well. Now it comes with Inception. It also comes with MPV mode. It comes with a sports mode. You just press on the S and it will go very, very fast, very, very quickly. It has mimic control as well, so you can say stick it on the ground and move your iPhone, and I'll show these as I'm talking. So that's a really nice feature as well. And it also has object tracking as well. So if you have the attachment, I haven't got that with this unit, but if you have that, it may ship with the unit, I'm not sure. But if you put that on top, your camera goes on top, or your iPhone or whatever you'd like to use goes on top of the actual camera, you balance it, and then you just circle around or just press around what you want to track, and it will track that object as well. So what do I think about it? Well, I think it's really a good upgrade. Like I said, it is only mentioned as an S upgrade, but there's a lot of features that I just told you about that have been added to make this a much more usable gimbal, particularly if you're working fast and things like that. Well, it's much easier now to use, and I think it's a really good upgrade. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll take you through some footage that I shot in Sydney. We were there for a few days. Now, just remember, though, that this is pre-firmware, so it's not release firmware. This is a pre-sort of release firmware that was put on this, and also the iPhone app was pre-release as well. So you've got to take that into consideration when you're looking at the footage, etc. I think the footage looks great, but I just want to mention that. Apart from that, guys, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll leave you all with the video so you can look at that, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.